Are we having fun yet? Who's having fun? Who's having fun? What is the mind virus? Who knows what the mind virus is? Who wants to volunteer a good description of what that is? What is it? What is the mind virus? Anybody know? Who do we have? Thom, we have Nigel, Dyslexic, Mr. West, Raw Milk. What's up, everybody? Hello. Welcome. Food grade diatomaceous earth. Helps clean you out. Lies. Repetition of fear. I'm off to teach a fitness class in the park. Yes, do it. Don't make them wear masks, please. If I could show you something really quick here. This spawned a thought about the mind virus, because it is the mind virus. So if you want an example of what it is, if you would like an example, Let's see. How do we find this? Andrea posted this. I just reposted. This is what I said. Folks, if you've not been yet made aware of the etheric mind virus, known also as Wetiko, please understand that the coronavirus is the manifest form of the actual mind virus, which has been festering behind the scenes in this realm for a long time. And this is the judgment-free zone, as far as I know, which charged Andrea for something, even though she hasn't gone forever. And they also gave this nice little message. Effective August 1st, all Planet Fitness members, you, and guests will be required to wear a mask inside our clubs at all times. You would think they could recycle the same logic used at eating facilities, where their impeccable logic says wear the mask on the way in, but while you're eating, don't wear your mask. So that logic, since it's clearly acceptable, should be able to be repeated in the gym situation. But they're not doing that here. Wearing a mask in public is proven to help reduce the spread of COVID-19. It does help reduce the spread of the mind virus to some extent, because you're less fearful of a virus, real or not, when you think you're being protected from it. So they're not actually necessarily lying when they say wearing a mask is proven to help reduce the spread of something. You just have to interpret COVID-19 as fear, or the mind virus, or Wetiko, or Yaldabos farts. Many different ways we can interpret this. We're committed to doing everything in our power to ensure that you can gym. Gym is now a verb. Like you can run, that's a verb, right? Am I getting that right? You can gym safely and confidently. Thanks in advance for your support and adherence to this policy. This added safety precaution also helps us remain open to serve you and keep you healthy, and moving. Healthy and moving. And she said, Planet Fitness actively trying to harm the health of their members while claiming to do the opposite, or well, double speak, the upside down. Good will be called evil, evil will be called good. Do you know where/when you are? Rold said, yes, Wetiko is a festering psychic virus turning into an irreversible gangrene infection at this very point. I don't know if it's irreversible. I don't know if I would go that far. If it were all powerful, then none of us would be around anymore because it would have consumed everything. And yes, you could make the argument that wearing the mask reinforces the fear, because if you weren't watching your television and the newspaper, the people wouldn't know to wear them in the first place. So the television reinforces the appearing on our 3D screen, the appearance of the thing itself on our 3D screen in the form of masks and 6 feet dots, and then those propagate the knowledge and or fear. Now, of course, if everyone was just like, everyone's been getting sick in this world forever, what makes this one so special? Even while wearing the mask, then of course it wouldn't really matter. If people took it as like a giant Halloween party, wouldn't matter at all. It would not matter. I was thinking about it with trying to compare it to something that, if you haven't been taken, you would understand to be very harmful. Like, it's difficult to compare it to that which is not the mind virus, but like, I don't know. Let's take fleas, right? Fleas are, we'll take a relatively benign thing that we're actually having to deal with at this very moment, which are, for all intents and purposes, not good for the host, which is the animals, and it's not good for the owners of the animals, which are us, right? Causes suffering. Parasite. The definition of parasite is an entity that causes suffering, or that takes energy, but doesn't give back anything in return. That's the definition of a parasite. So, imagine if you have this visible problem in your house. It's fleas. Everyone agrees that they are there, and everyone agrees that it's harmful, except perhaps the fleas themselves, if they were involved in the discussion. Maybe they would say, you guys are full of shit. We're just trying to live too. So, you take that, right? Take that. It's very understandable. From our perspective, human beings and pets, fleas are bad. In that very particular instance, you have a clear, non-wanted phenomenon happening. Everyone can agree on it. Now, take that same thing and, okay, this is how we're going to link it to the mind virus, okay? Take the same thing, fleas, and just have them cloaked. The fleas have developed a cloaking mechanism, okay? They are still fully there. They're still drinking the blood out of your animals. They're still pooping all over the carpet, but they have a cloaking mechanism. Okay, now think back to the earlier example where visible fleas are attacking. You don't necessarily notice at first that there's a problem. You might see your pet scratching themselves. Pets scratch them. I scratch myself, and it doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong with my face. Right? Now, the thing to understand with the mind virus is that it flips into something else. It becomes something other than it is through perceptual explanation. Through perceptual explaining of what is happening, it literally becomes something else, simply because it can't be seen with the eyeballs. And possibly it can't be seen with the mind itself, because the mind is the conduit through which your eye information can come through. So if your dog is scratching itself, and you say to your mate or your roommate, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever, friend, hey, there's some scratching is happening. And you look in there, maybe it's fleas, right? You pull the fur apart, you look for the fleas, you don't see any fleas. Put your head next to the floor, listen for that sound of them ticking. Did I hear a tick? Maybe I heard a tick. But I don't see any. So, can't be fleas. Right? So then the problem starts getting worse. And your pet, say your dog, is scratching more and more, and you still want to fix the problem, and now you see like some sores are developing, And you say, well, clearly there's something bothering her, but she may have just started exacerbating the problem, which was just maybe she scratched too hard when she had just a regular itch. So you start putting some ointment on there. Put some ointment. Put some aloe vera. Put some weed oil, right? That helps heal things. And so it will heal even. It will even heal. And maybe some of that stuff has an adverse effect on the invisible fleas. So it will start healing, but it won't ever fully go away when you're applying solutions to the perceived problem rather than the actual problem, which is invisible fleas. And then that even goes into belief structures, because if you haven't yet entertained the idea that fleas can be invisible, then your mind can't even accept the possibility of invisible fleas attacking your dog. They can't even accept it. Your mind can't accept it. So until you're willing to let your mind be malleable to the idea of multiple possibilities, you won't ever even come near to the actual cause of the problem, which is invisible fleas. Now, to compare it to our current situation, just imagine that this problem has been going on for a really long time, and people have just been saying it's, the animals seem to just be sensitive. Everyone's animals all of a sudden have the same problem. There's no fleas, but everyone's animals itching and scratching. They got open sores all over, and nobody knows what to do. Right? But everyone has developed systems for managing what actually appears on the visible 3D screen, which is just our pets are suffering. We don't know why. So you could see how if something else decided it was going to develop the same ability, i.e. cloaking, then and humans have never yet adapted the mindset that possibly such a thing could exist, then what's going to happen is these things that have developed the ability to be invisible are going to proliferate underneath and behind the scenes, and you don't need the government to be saying, oh, conspiracy theories, and everyone who says conspiracy theory, those terms now, they're going to be carted off to the loony bin and blah, blah, blah. You don't need to turn it into that thing where it's like the they and they're perpetrating this on the us. You don't even need to go there. It's not necessary. But you can see how, if left unchecked, and if the people don't ever acknowledge the fact that the invisible fleas exist, or that a bunch of other invisible creatures are existing and moving amongst us, then at some point, as they build, as they are eating more than is proper in a system where it's a relatively even playing field, as the unfairness of the situation, so to speak, starts multiplying on itself because nobody's looking at the elephant in the room, or rather the invisible flea, eventually the fleas are just going to be everywhere. It's just going to be fleas only. And they'll probably start attacking humans even, because there's so many of them that animals can't even service. They can't service the fleas. There's not enough animals. There's not enough blood. So eventually, way down the road, you're going to have something fully ridiculous happen in the world that a logical mind can make no sense of whatsoever, unless it knows about the invisible fleas. If it knows about the invisible fleas, then you say, yeah, invisible fleas. Duh. Go put flea powder on the animals. Or, in this case, someone says, mind virus. And then gives forth some mechanisms by which to, not let the thing eat you. It's the same exact situation that is happening in our world. It is happening. And the rest of the world, who has not ever come to the idea of what is called Wetiko, has no clue. They're just like, wow, I knew politicians were stupid and greedy and, serving special interests and this and that. And I knew, generally speaking, humans are kind of daft and they don't really know much and they basically get pushed around by the forces of nature and man. Outside of all that, they're like, wow, this thing's really fucked up. It's really, really going off the hinges. Because we don't see really anything. Like, we don't even... They're talking... The bodies are piling up in the streets? What? No, they're not. Hospitals are empty? But something is propagating itself out there. It may not be humans dying, but something is definitely propagating and multiplying. It's very simple. And then if you tie that back into all the corruption and the bullshit that we all know about, the children, the adrenochrome, spirit cooking, all this nonsense, like these creatures, it's not even necessarily them. It's like the etheric thing is eating through their visibly horrifying actions. And it's not even that visible because they hide anyway. They hide anyway. They couldn't stand and talk to someone who's pure. They would dissolve like a wicked witch. They just dissolve into a puddle of mush. They have to hide. The vaccine is the virus. Hey, Joe. And then the problem is, like, humans are creative. We are creative. And this is distortion from the beginning anyway. The 3D is distortion. It's a distorted version of the higher dimensions. And we have to forget certain things in order to manifest here. Just if you have all the memory of your past 25 billion lives or however many times you've reincarnated, you're not going to enjoy this one as much. Or else you're just going to become an immediate god and asshole if you haven't gotten your own spirit ego under control, because you're going to know how to control everybody. Energy to defend yourself against something that may not be as dangerous as it's made out to be. He wears it all day long and has been for months. Every break he goes into his vehicle and lathers up with what I'm assuming is some kind of sanitizer. Yeah. And see, the thing is that people have to do something. They have to do something, okay? Like my own self, I have knowledge of the mind virus, so when I see this out there, I say, oh, that's that. That doesn't have any sway over me anymore, so I don't give a shit, for the most part. I will help explain to what I know to the people who wish to have some ways of maneuvering around it, but I don't care. Like, it doesn't mean anything to me. But regular people, or people who don't have this knowledge, will have to react to it somehow. They will have to react. If you're a living being with a physical body and you're presented with some sort of harm, even if it's just a threat, like for instance, if you get a call and some random voice says, hey, here's your address, and they list off your address and they say, we're watching you. Then they hang up. That's it, right? Your mind immediately goes, poof! And you create an entire universe. The second that call comes through, you instantly go back in your own memory and you think of all the people you've possibly harmed or that possibly have a beef against you. You think about, if you're a TI, you think, oh, the government's ramping up, this, whatever. Like, whatever your past is, you immediately create a universe to explain that phone call. And if you know the universe truly, you know that you can also create the one that says, he got a wrong number. He got a wrong number. Whoops. I don't think 5G really means anything, honestly. Number games are silly nonsense. All of it is the same thing. If you have technology that's ramping up, and you see outside what appears to be a hive mind proliferating, then you know. All kinds of technological stuff is going into bringing more meat into the hive. Resistance is futile, as they say in Star Trek. Or it's not, depending on how powerful your own mind is. But all this 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, 25G, it doesn't mean anything. We've had iPhones 1 through 11. It's all the same shit. There are timelines where the technology keeps increasing its frequency, or it keeps hunting down the organic human frequency, and it wishes to entrain them till they're just brain in a vat type situation. Yes, that does exist. Everything exists. Every possibility exists to some extent in some dimension. And then all these parallel / forward, behind / everything dimensions, they all feed back into your current present timeline, and your knowledge and or malleability of mind and or faith in guides and spirit and God, and your how much weight you give to devils and demons and nefarious energies. Your exact understanding and makeup and how you dance with this thing determines what actually appears on your screen. Like, appearing on my screen is a bunch of people wearing masks and walking around like drones. And also appearing on my screen is now apparently companies say it's a great idea to work out while you're wearing a mask. It's a great idea. This is along with knowledge that people in China have literally keeled over and died while jogging with masks on, like because of the mask, because they didn't get enough oxygen. That's along with that knowledge that the companies are doing this. And you can be creative and see just how many nuances can this Orwellian doublespeak absurdity opposite world, you can see like how far that can go. And it does have to be called out at some point if you don't wish, because if you don't wish your whole world to completely be destroyed, because it will, in a world that goes by force, and this one does. Those ones, the hive at least, believes, however much a hive can believe, it believes that it's correct. It believes that you're being healthy by wearing masks. And it believes that you're also now apparently harming other people by not wearing a mask. You saw your true men asleep? Sent here through the genetic code to my physical temple. The ones in the cloaks were watching to see how the process works. Mind virus infiltrated most of the population, yes. They want to transfer the code to the altered forms as the divine does. These are not the droids you're looking for. Working with NPCs who never needed to use the restroom, I would spend more money on beer and eating out every day than they made. Yeah, even if you just look at numbers and probabilities and income levels and this and that, what presents visually does not make sense. It doesn't make sense. The money thing is, as far as I can tell, the money thing itself is literally a physical manifestation of our own innate belief structures on the topic of how much you were worth. It has nothing to do with like, do I have enough dollars in my account to buy X or Y or Z? It's like, that doesn't have anything to do with it. Money is really weird. But it's the same exact principle as the mainstream religious groups have, which is it thrives on being attacked. The mind virus thrives when you attack it. Its dynamic is the narcissist dynamic. And you see that thing playing all the way up and down through society. The narcissist dynamic is the same thing as the, bad God, the masochist God in the Old Testament. It's the same dynamic, the same exact thing. All those terms that you know about from narcissism, gaslighting, emotional manipulation, them projecting their own what's the word? Low self-esteem. They're projecting their own actual non-power, their actual level of no power or low power internally. They project it on who they are manipulating. And everything that they are, which is, they're petty, they're vampiric, they are not creative, they need to take other people's energy and they can't turn it into anything beautiful or nice. Okay, all of those things that make up the narcissist, they take that and they say, you are that. They say, to the empath, they say that. You are that. You are selfish. You take all the energy. You're not creative. You're not doing enough around here. And the empath, by virtue of their own creative nature, they make room for the narcissist to exist. So the empath actually is the one that's carving out the narcissist's little web. Like, the empath is the one that actually does it. The empath does it for them. And it's the same thing with creator beings that are being attacked by vampiric, archontic, Wetiko-laden AI bots or whatever, what have you, anything. It's once you get the internal picture of what it is, you just know. Do I think Yali and mind virus are connected? Yeah. They're essentially the same thing. Yaldi is just the physical. I think he is supposed to be an actual being, visible on some levels. He's not visible here, but he's the demi, or the Satan. And inherently, these beings can't see outside of their own, power just blinds for the most part. Manipulative power. I'm not talking about all power, like power of a waterfall rushing down a mountain. It's very powerful, but it's not manipulative. It's natural. Yeah, they make the empaths the scapegoats always. And if the empaths are not taking the position of warrior, then they will just be victims. You will be a victim, because that energy, that vampiric energy, takes all of the strengths, the natural strengths of empaths, which is empathy, love, compassion, heart, soul, creativity, forgiveness, allowance of others to be as they are. All of these things that make empaths what they are, they're all used as weapons against them. And in that situation, if you as the empath don't say, oh, it's a fucking war, and I'm the target of the war, and how do I be a warrior? Because it doesn't even look like a war. It looks like someone yelling at me, right? But it is a war, and it's tied in with the spiritual war that's been going on forever. And you have to see yourself as a warrior. Because if you haven't seen that yet, then you literally are like the soldier in the battlefield that's being invisibly attacked. Like there's some level of him that's presenting as whole, as, oh, my body's fine, okay? There's some level of him that his consciousness is staying in because he likes his body being whole, but then on a bunch of other levels up and down the spectrum of awareness, of density of dimensions, his body's being beat to shit, torn up, stolen off of, looshed out of, all these things. And he hasn't yet declared himself a warrior, so he hasn't been able to go into those parts of himself that are being ravaged. So here from this level, from the 3D, like, blocked off from all of the other dimensional aspects of our being, if we don't acknowledge that we're warriors and we're being actively warred against in virtually every moment of our lives, then we're not even aware enough to ask, like, can I see into the other aspects of myself that are being destroyed? Because you haven't even been made aware that you're being attacked. The TI stuff, it's just as insidious. Direct energy weapons, just as insidious. All of it's very insidious, very invisible to the eye. And the victim is always blamed. That's why people go to the loony bin. The so-called insane people are just intelligent people who came up against the mind virus or, the savior. It's all over the place. Savior syndrome. Because if you think about it, all of these things that people hold as aspects of personality, like the savior syndrome stuff, if you poke a hole at that, you're like, no, that guy didn't actually save me. He probably never do anything. Then they're like, you're being, the whole thing starts winding up. And then they project their fear that their belief system may not be 100% onto you, and then you get attacked. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked. And you can see it unraveling, like, the aware community is not so aware as it pretends. I see it a lot of the people, not all of them, but a lot of the so-called truth community and the people that are into aliens and other dimensions, OBEs, etc. A lot of people have not yet acknowledged what this energy is. And at the deepest levels of it, it will manifest something like your loved one attacking you for no reason. And if you react to that, sometimes you have to let yourself be destroyed if you're not interested in harming other beings. Because the virus has the ability to turn upside down what is considered true self-morality as per the individual who's creating what he or she sees on the screen. And if you're not privy to that, you'll just be like, well, I'm defending myself because my loved one is attacking me for no reason. And maybe you do need to do that, but at the same time, the ability to not react and to flip whatever is visually occurring into something conceptually perceivable that shows something other than you initially felt or thought. That ability is very powerful because it is, at the end of the day, a big screen and nothing is real. Like, stuff comes and goes. Everything comes and goes within this weird little sliver of a something called the present moment. Are we talking mushrooms? The lockdown is not just self-destruction. It is. Like, loss of ego, destroying the so-called self is necessary. But it's not just war. There's always a balance. And the lockdown is allowing the normal people who haven't dove under yet to see, like they're seeing now. And even the coronavirus nonsense is a gentle, it's a gentle way of showing the festering sores underneath the surface. It's a gentle way of showing your dog with festering sores all over it. They're not just itchy. It's a gentle way of showing you, no, there is actually a parasite on their skin, eating their blood, drinking their blood. It's just invisible to your eyes. Just go treat it like you would any parasite. Put flea medicine on it. Hey Adam, you're welcome. First time smoking DMT this weekend. I'm sure I'll be fine. Oh man. Other people seem to have less dramatic results from hallucinogens and things like psilocybin, DMT, ayahuasca. Weed popped me beyond just gone. A couple eternities. I had to come back. That's why I can share now the stuff that I share, because like all it took for me was a bunch of weed. Andrea said when she took DMT, she blasted up way out past the earth, way far out, and she said she knew everything. So she's up there floating around, just knowing literally everything. And someone had to call her back, like, don't stay out too long. Now, I don't know if that's maybe it's nice to stay out too long. Maybe we don't need to keep coming back and doing this physical stuff. But she came back, and you can't bring that knowledge here. Like, that knowledge can't fit. Obviously. Can't bring the knowledge of everything here. You can say, oh, I was there and I knew everything for a brief moment, and I was the Godhead for a brief moment, and then you come back here and you're like, God damn it, I still gotta pay my fucking rent. I still have to pay for living on a planet that I was born on, which makes no sense whatsoever. And I still, still fat if you're fat, or still got disease, still have cancer, still, whatever it is that you're milking. We're all milking something or other. I didn't say S-dist. What does that mean? The mind is a fragile place and also the most powerful weapon forged. I know that our beloved spiritual traditions like Buddhism, even the mainstream religions to some extent, say, Buddhism definitely says, like, the mind itself is that which you need to release as manipulator of. Or they say kill the Buddha if you see him, or they say, even some students misinterpret it as I need to kill my own mind, or I need to stop my mind from functioning, which is of course incorrect. But going outside of that, you have to understand that the mind itself is what it contains everything. Andrea's home. Contains everything. I peed the dog already. You're welcome. I'm doing a show. Can I ask why you're smoking DMT, raw milk? You good? Mm-hmm. How was the judgment-free zone?
Oh, God. She wasn't surprised.
No?
I was like, is this because of COVID? Yeah.
Why did you get charged in the first place?
They opened back up last month, so they charged. You could go and work out without a mask. And today they sent an email that said, starting August 1st, you have to wear a mask to work out. And they have a video with 5 pointers to help you wear your mask while you work out. And most of them just imply, like, not working out, like taking breaks, breathings, like taking rest periods between your... breathing rhythmically.
Yeah, I was just talking about that. The absurdity.
They're gonna have lawsuits. People are gonna drop dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple of people died in China just running down the street.
Dude.
With masks. Like they were exercising.
It's like a pinched nerve now. My back of my leg is numb.
What?
Yeah.
We'll do trade.
I just have to de-stress.
Yeah. We're having a fun, cozy conversation about the mind virus.
Yay.
You want to join?
No. I'm going to go lay down and de-stress. Well, I'm not going to lay down. Never lay down. I just need to relax.
Yeah.
I can't do any more interaction with people today. Even nice ones. Dude, I feel like I'm in a third world country driving out there.
Yeah. Why?
/ war zone. Like, the tent cities have certainly grown. I just drove around some parts I haven't seen since the winter. And there's, like, way more tents.
Yep. It's coming to a... It has to break. It has to break one way or the other. The financial system was setting up to break from the beginning.
Too many clothes. It's too hot.
It's too hot. I'm sweating under this shirt. Let's look on Twitter, see what the Twitter sphere is doing. Rat quick lag. Not Twitch. Twitter.com. Is he talking about hydroxychloroquine? I don't know. Everyone is being tricked. You are on Earth because you have done this many times before. You have chosen consciously to incarnate and be on Earth in these times of cosmic change. JFK. Flo is still around? Let's not have Flo be around. Hell is a state of mind. You can leave if you really want. Yes, this is correct. I was there for a while, and then I left. Randy Moggins. Most likely you won't feel sick at all. Time is not time, and reality is multi-layered. Past, present, and future are combined. There is no linearity. Still doing left first, right? I'm just looking at Twitter. Twatter. Twatter is correct. The only benefit of shedding multiple viewpoints on a problem that requires multiple viewpoints to solve is to stop the problem from being solved. Yeah, of course.
I didn't make it to the groceries.
No?
I couldn't handle any more out there today. I'll get some more.
Yeah, the battlefield is rough nowadays, isn't it?
The post office took a while because I had to fill out custom forms.
Ah, you got it done though?
Yeah.
Excellent. Donald J. Trump. You can take back a lot of power. You want some power?
I have one.
Take it! You are changing this world. You are not following the galactics. They are following and watching you. Truth does not care about your opinion. That's incorrect. The truth is comprised of literally everything, including all this stupid shit, like COVID. If you just wear a mask, the state could open up sooner.
Here and get as much wind flow as you can.
What?
Just hold up the window.
Yeah. So, nothing's going on Twitter. It hasn't really started yet. It really hasn't started yet. We're just at the super initial phases where people are like, something smells a little funny here. That's where we're at right now. A couple of people here and there are just now noticing that something smells a little funky up in this piece. We did get a couple donations. I wanted to say thank you. Susie, $20. Jennifer, $5. We got a few donations. And thank you to anyone who is going to donate now, later, yesterday. We're going for it. We're gonna get land. We're gonna have a camper, or a yurt, or a tiny house. And this is the way that you can support if you like. And that link will also be in the description. Or you could just go to GoFundMe, look up Breathe Free. And also, let's see, how do we do this? I did launch this thing, and I don't know if it's just the way YouTube does it is retarded and it doesn't show the option, or if people aren't interested at this time because they don't have money, or etc. But there is a membership option. So I wanted to show y'all what it looks like if you haven't seen it yet. See, it's not even available here. Maybe you have to click on the actual page. Yeah, it's this one. So if you go on, apparently it's not available on the iPhone or the phone, which it should be because it says on the page. It says in the description of all this that you can access it through the phone and through the computer. But you would click join, and then you have all these options. And there's a little emoji, see? Got little Gary emojis. It'll be fun, but this is a way to support. This bottom one is just generic support, $2 a month. You get a shout out every week. The middle one is whoever's on this one can join the weekly roundtable discussions, and this one is it would be a group. It would be a group where we actually discuss weekly about very specific aspects of our lives here and what we're doing on a daily basis about it. So this option is available to everybody, and you would have to go to the computer, go to my channel, click join. So those are what I've been putting a little bit of work into recently. What's up, Lauren? How do? You ready to come on the show? You want to come on right now? Look at all this room. Got plenty of space right here. I can be right here. You can be right here. Lauren, Gary. Or we can even do it like this, right? Lauren can be here. Gary can be here. Or Gary can be here. Lauren can be here. If you want. Or if somebody else wants to come on and shoot the breeze for a couple minutes, we can do that. Or I can keep blabbering on. Any words of advice from venturing into the system? Can't hold back the tide with a push broom. Yeah, I've been doing alright, Lauren, thanks for asking. I only came out of the things that I've been through and remember with... Okay, I came out with the 0 point. I found the 0 point. Okay, I didn't access it. I didn't like create it. I just became aware of that. And that's what we all are. Or rather, that's what everything springs out of. All this springs out of the 0 point. So I became privy of that. And then I began meditating all the time. And I became able to explore from the 0 point, which is the center of yourself, out, which is number one, you explore out mentally or emotionally or spiritually, and that's all internal. Mental, emotional, spiritual, internal. You explore out from the 0 point, and then you can also explore out from the 0 point physically. So you can get yourself up, get your ass out your chair, go out the door, or dive through your window, and I basically discovered that you were I say I and you kind of interchangeably, but I am, you are 1,000% free, always, in each and every moment. Nobody's controlling you whatsoever. God's not controlling you, the devil's not controlling you, Yaldabaoth's not controlling you, the mind virus is not controlling you, your wife is not controlling you, the cat, the dog, the flea, the invisible flea, the birds or the bees. Nobody's controlling you whatsoever. And that you are free to do anything. And I also, you're free to do anything, but there are repercussions for everything, and you don't necessarily know what they are until you do something, until you try something new. And I also discovered that if you're meditating all the time, if you're staying within the 0 point all the time, and something is attacking you, it is different than if you're out there reacting to people and things, because karmically speaking, there are much higher repercussions if you as a being attack someone who basically is silent and motionless internally and is essentially peaceful for the most part. Much higher repercussions for that. So you don't get attacked. Like, you get attacked, but it's not the same as it used to be. And I also discovered that there is no pecking order. There is no hierarchy. Everyone is exactly the same. And we're all in eternity. We're in it right now. And there's nothing wrong with eternity. It's like, it's life. It's you. It's only scary to think about, or monotonous, or boring, or what have you, when you still are really bought into the idea of the physicality, day-to-day 3D dreamscape stuff that appears across your little bubble, when you really think that's all real. Because you need to examine what you mean by real, and you need to also examine your own self. Watch how your moment changes. Watch how it changes from the present into the past. The past is not a billion years ago. The past is so close to the present, it's inseparable. It's a 0.000000001 nanosecond behind the present. And being that as it is, there is no physicality. There's no like physical long body. The physical long body is a mental. It's a mental long body. It's kind of a mind fuck. And you could also say physicality is mind anyway, because all of this physical stuff translates into memory the second as it's happening. So how could it not be the same thing? It's the same thing. Gotta go. See you, Nigel. Take care. DMT is a useful tool to see this place as a simulation, but do not expect. Good luck trying to not expect. I know there are salvia, for instance. I've read a lot of salvia reports, and everyone says, without exception, I prepared myself so incredibly well. I said no expectations. I set up all my incense. I set the room. I had my trip sitter there, whom I love and I trust deeply, and prayed to God that I don't destroy myself, or that I don't destroy the universe on accident, and yada yada yada. However you think you need to prepare for taking a salvia trip or DMT, and without fail, each and every one of them said it was absolutely meaningless. All of it. What you what you go into when you peek behind the veil is not even, you can't even, you're away from this totality of how you perceive information and process it. You're so far away from it so quickly that it just doesn't mean anything. And what actually happens is you start exploring the layers of your own being in how it actually is. Okay, your actual being has definite ways about it, and what you have in your day-to-day moment, if you haven't been doing your spiritual work, is composed of a bunch of ego fluffy nonsense, and it doesn't have anything to do with what you actually are, because you're hiding from this, and you're making that one bigger, and you're making this one tinier, and you're checking your bank account, and making sure you're okay with your friends list and all this stuff. Mad about your product not selling, or happy that that's that's what we do here, is we puff up things that we like and we push down things that we don't like. So it's a whole cornucopia of weird, distorted perception of self. And the second that you go out of this and you peek behind the veil, it's just like poof, the illusion of self, the illusion of free will disappears really fast. It's gone. And you find out what you actually mean when you say, I do or don't have free will. At some point you have to understand that the words don't touch the reality. They just don't. A little bit, like they can cozy up next to some parts of it, but they don't touch it for the most part. And the deepest part, there is no touching. What was I going to do? I feel like I was going to do something. I look like Alan Watts. This is bullshit COVID hair. My hair hasn't been this long for a long time. Look how long this is. Kind of like it, and it's kind of also annoying and hot. But I used to listen to Alan Watts all the time. And then I realized that people are basically echo chambers for their own silliness. You're hot. Hot, like temperature-wise? I don't have any problems. Maybe just some challenges. It's all mental masturbation. Energetic jujitsu, yeah. Once you learn what it is, nobody can compete. If someone's trying to compete with you on like life itself, if you're treating the whole thing as a game, nobody can compete with you once you know what the thing is. Nobody. Doesn't mean you'll be good at other games within life. Like, I'm not that good at chess. I try to be. But there are many people way better than me. But the overall thing itself, in terms of just debating about literally anything, nobody can compete. And then if you get two people who also both know, then they're not even interested in talking to each other, because you're basically talking to yourself. And it's boring. Who wants to come on and chat? Let's see. Or else maybe I'll stop. I'm not sure. Let's see if let's do a shot in the dark. Lauren disappeared really fast. She's been wanting to come on for a long time, but something continually happens to stop that, which is kind of sad because it's going to be a good conversation. Oh, you are still here. A bit reluctant. You've been way reluctant. Oh, that's not it. It's okay though. You come on when you come on. Invite. Copy invite link. And there you go. There it is, available for everybody. Click on that link. What's up, Armin? Click on that there link. Come say hello. And we'll talk about some bullshit nonsense. Or not. I'm sure there's other things to do. There's always plenty of stuff to do. I always forget that there's a waiting room on Zoom, and then whoever comes in is waiting there for a couple minutes. And then I remember, oh. Handsome and wise. Do you think reality is a realm or like a state? I learned lots this year. I don't know what reality is. Andrea, what is reality? She says it's a joke. The mind virus would disagree with you. A method of donation other than PayPal. Yes, please donate to our little deal and help us get our homestead.
Give him the link.
I did. Instead of us being in a stupid apartment with NPCs surrounding, we'll be in the woods, growing gardens, and making magic potions. All kinds of creations. Probably hosting some Reiki sessions and whatnot. Make a retreat center. Can't talk, no microphone, plus paranoia about the HAL quantum AI. If you have fear, then yeah, I would be careful making yourself public. So that's that. Can you guys see these links? There's the GoFundMe again. Hope you can see these. I know they try to hide me from everybody sometimes. HAL quantum AI. Who's HAL? Let's go find out who HAL is. HAL quantum AI. HAL INRA? INRIA? Deep learning's hidden layers in order to make AI explainable with quantum computer. Who is HAL? You know that your own mind is a quantum computer, right? You guys are aware of this? Nasara? No. Hey, Michelle. Hal from Space Odyssey? The obelisk? The... obelisk thing? I think it was an obelisk. Another cube. The monolith. Is that what you're talking about? Monolith. The monolith. This cube deal here. Hal. What's up, Hal? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen Space Odyssey. That was the one that came up with 42, right? Flight of the Navigator, I've never heard of it. So yeah, basically we're gonna get land, we're gonna plop a little something or other on there, and then we'll make a garden and help people heal from the mind virus. Essentially. In a couple words. Flight of the Navigator. In 1978, a boy travels... Oh, also, Dark was amazing. The ending was really nice. A boy travels 8 years into the future and has an adventure with an intelligent, wisecracking alien ship. I don't think I've seen this one. I wonder if it's on my Netflix. That would be fortunate. Or it could be on Amazon Prime. Perhaps. E.T. is on here. Nah, it's not on here. Prime Video. And included with Prime. Nope. The Navigator is included, but not Flight of the Navigator. Oh, maybe somebody came in. Keep forgetting to check this. Nope. Nobody wants to talk. I read The Stranger the other day. Who's read The Stranger? The other day. I read it yesterday. By Camus, the absurd guy. The absurdist. Who's read that book? Show of hands, please. First name, last name. What's up, buddy? Kubrick was telling us that they intend to keep on creating an advanced quasi-sentient AI for us to overcome in order to achieve the next level of evolution. Jonathan Moss, hello, welcome. Matt, welcome. Powder? Powder and Flight of the Navigator, huh? Not Stephen King, Camus. Albert Camus. Albert Camus. It's probably on Amazon for very cheap. Yep. $10. Or you could buy it used for $9.67. Save yourself one whole dollar. That would make sense. That makes almost as much sense as working out with a mask on. It's a good book. Quirky book. Albert Camus, he invented the idea of absurdism. Am I psychic? How you doing? I don't know what that means. I can read people really well, but I don't know that I'm psychic. People have trouble lying to me because I know what it is. I'm a very good lie detector. Because one man's truth is another man's lie. I detect lies how the hammer detects lies. He probably took notes from my method. HAMR. David Icke streams again? David Icke is streaming on Saturday? I've never listened to a single solitary David Icke stream. Why are you retracting the message? Yeah. I help people calm down because I have a silent mind. So therefore, if you listen to me, you also feel what it's like to have a silent mind for a little while. Of course, everyone also has silent mind, but not everyone has become aware of that yet. This is what we live on. Is it a ball? There's Yaldi. It's not Saturday? Well, when is it then? You have to be a good lie detector if you want to set up an alt community. If you want to set something up, you have to be aware that the mind virus is everywhere, and the group will attempt to self-sabotage through the members who have not yet acclimated themselves to their own energy and who have not yet attained to emotional non-reactivity. That's why almost all groups self-implode. Maybe instead of this, I can do this. There we go. Now I can see the comments. You can see the comments on my screen. And it's almost like I have it set up properly. You should use a polygraph to interview prospective members. I don't need a polygraph. I don't even know if I want to manage groups anymore. People start feeling special. Everyone's already way too special. We don't need more of that. Sunday? Yeah, we're very special. But there's a certain way that you have to be if you want to be able to be special without becoming super special. We don't want to be super special. We don't want to become attention whores. Pointy eyebrows died. Thanks, Raw Milk. I appreciate you. Get a haircut? I can't get a haircut with $5. I'm thinking of chopping it. Just bring it down to about a 2 or a 3. Yeah, if I'll try and hop on there Sunday, maybe do a little bit of commentary. I've never listened to a live David Icke, so I think he's joking because he knows $5 isn't going to buy anybody a haircut. I'm pretty happy that you guys are like behaving yourselves, because I've seen some of this Twitch stuff and oof, it's just emoticons flying and it's not pretty. I know haircut places are open now, but I don't want to wear a mask, obviously. By emotionally non-reactive, do you mean the state Hubbard referred to as a clear? I'm not sure exactly what Hubbard meant by clear. I know it had to do with dissolving attachments and entities, with the emphasis on entities. But being that Scientology is a full-on cult in the bad sense, because there are cults that are, everything's a cult. Groups are cults. Scientology was a definite mindfuck cult, especially since Tom Cruise was in there. So I wouldn't necessarily trust a term that was coined within that. Although he did write a very good... He wrote a good book. I think it was called Battlefield Earth. Mr. Hubbard wrote a good book. So if you guys want to get some insider knowledge onto Scientology and the birth of it, go order yourself Battlefield Earth and expand your horizon. I think he wrote this before he started Scientology. Not Prime Video. All departments. Battlefield Earth, a classic dystopian book by L. Ron Hubbard. And you can buy it on Kindle. Only 35,000 humans remain, and the aliens hunt them for sport. Who will lead the uprising? Now, what does this here have to do with Scientology? Anything? Nothing? I didn't finish it. I think I got about halfway through. Ignore the fact that it's L. Ron Hubbard of Scientology fame. Just a rollicking good boy's own adventure story of great scoop. Great fun. We forget that Hubbard made his money as a great storyteller. Great work from a flawed genius. Does anyone in here have any experience in Scientology? Who's been inside of a Scientology deal? I'm curious. What's up, Mike? How have you been? My new sharp haircut feels great. Nice. It's annoying the shit out of me. On a daily, not daily, I would say 2 or 3 times a week, I think about my hair and how I want to chop it all off, but it hasn't happened yet. I can thank COVID for my hair, because I haven't had hair this long in a really, really long while. What do you think of that Archon and cloaking images I showed you? Is it a recent text picture, Mike? Dianetics. Yeah, I think I started the Dianetics book, but didn't finish it. Did you email them or did you text them, Mike? Let's see. My goodness. This is a video, though. This is probably not what you're referring to. But I don't want to play that music because copyright nonsense will happen. Today is Monday, right? Yeah, today's Monday. What the heck? Where did all my stuff go? Did it all disappear? This is nonsense. How do I find it again? Crap. Crapola. What the Funkelschwouts? That's no fun. That's absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. YouTube Studio, videos, live, switch account. Something weird happened here. Go channel. I'm assuming you guys can still hear me. Somehow I deleted a bunch of bullshit. I'm gonna find you again. I shall find you again. Videos. YouTube Studio, videos, live. We're finding it. I don't know how to access it though. I mean, are we still streaming? Cancel? New meeting? I guess I could still be streaming. Can you guys hear me? I just don't know how I would turn it off now. Somehow I got rid of my actual page. See, it says I'm live here, but I don't know how I got rid of the thing. I got rid of the actual page somehow. So I am still streaming. What happened? I don't even know what happened. Something silly happened. Okay, well, I guess I'm still here. But I don't know how to end the stream now. Sorry, Mike, I didn't want to get a copyright strike. It's on Gmail? Okay. He sent it again. Oh, this was your friend, right? What did you say his name was? Yeah, this was pretty funky. I've seen this before. But I've not seen it look exactly like this. That's pretty nutty. Somebody asked me something, and I'm gonna end this relatively soon. I want to show you the chat. What chat? What do I think all this is leading up to? Anyone? I don't know about infiltrating Scientology. I think it's leading up to the worlds are dividing, and you're either going to be taken or you're going to be aware and living your own life. The duality is making it very difficult to be a fence sitter. That's what I think. And I think forcing issues are going to come, and those who wish to retain individuality and creativity are going to have to say no to certain things. Like, for instance, if the vaccine came around and it was forced, or if the mark of the beast, etc., that we've heard about, shipping, like if there's some sort of thing where they say you can't engage in trade or have money unless you do, this thing, and you want to retain your individuality and your sovereignty, you might have to say no and face some tough repercussions. Hey, Maya. Will there be a separation between the mask wearing herd and us? I mean, I wear the mask. I have to wear it at work. And I know I have done the not wear the mask thing and challenged the so-called authority, but it's just a big headache. I don't know. The thing is there isn't an actual way that it's going to go. It's going to go in whichever way that the collective influences it, and that you and I influence it. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing is set in stone. I'm not in anybody's asset. He said, hey, look, I'm a reptile. Seeing people's eyes turn black. His stream is not for people with a local limited shorter than a goldfish attention span. I mean, can we do an offline chat one of these days? Yeah, we can. For sure. Most definitely. You've got my number and my email. Wave after wave of fake corona. Yeah, the bullshit is propagating, it's multiplying, and it's gonna It's a forcing thing. It is all about force, and it has nothing to do with whatever conceptual overlay that they put, i.e. for your health, or there is a deadly virus when there's not, or any of that. It's only about force. It's only about compliance, blind compliance. Only. Nothing else. Nothing else. That being said, nobody can actually force anything. I've said this before, but even if somebody stabs you and you die, it's still like the consciousness itself is free even within that experience. Do I believe in QAnon? I think QAnon is helpful. It's helpful for people who haven't. QAnon is like a binky. It's a nice. It feels cozy, but it's also not necessary, and it is divisive on some levels. But at the same time, all of the bullshit, the dark stuff, the nasty shit that goes on has to be uncovered, and the bad people have to be exposed. QAnon's a part of that, so if you're into the specifics of who's doing what, who's raping who's eating what, all that, and you're pushing for justice for the people who have been raped and stolen from energetically, then Q's good. And also, it's obviously intelligent. Whatever is creating all of those drops is intelligent. So, I'm never a fan of saying this entire movement is either from God or straight from the devil. I would never do that. Although, some movements are kind of like that. Like, you could say, like, the liberal mindset as a whole is much more indicative of the mind virus than the Republican mindset. And you could say that it's hard to generalize, but some of it is like Antifa, BLM, clear Soros terrorism nonsense. That if you're not privy, then you might see that and say, yeah, like, it's bad to be racist, and it is bad to be racist, but look at who's funding what. Flat Earth is just another like little alarm bell within the sleeper. Because if you've been in prison for so long, you're asleep to most everything, and you need alarm bells. The CV is another alarm bell, but it's not necessarily an alarm bell by like your higher self or someone who cares about you. It's more like this guy who's been munching for a really long time. He's like burping or something. That's what CV is. The guy that's been eating your energy field is burping. He's like, bleh. Getting ready for round 2, you know. There isn't a thing. There's not a thing that is, that can be described. Most people wishing to sell viewpoints will be benefiting, and whether it be financially or from fear or from love or whatever. The whole thing is just you have to sell out to some extent in this realm, because otherwise you can't eat. You're not allowed to just pick fruit off of trees, so you have to find some way to make money, and then most likely you're going to compromise yourself to some extent, because the corporation beast system is operating everything, as you can clearly see with all of the companies forcing masks, which are clearly illogical. So there is a sellout to some extent, always. It might get rough, you know. Some people are saying, like what Armin is saying, stock up. You know, the stuff is going to play out. We will see it. We will be affected by it. I'm going to cut this one off though, guys and gals. If I can figure out how to. I'm not sure exactly how to. Because I went away from my actual screen, so I'm not really sure how to do it. Maybe I just have to end it in OBS first. Anyway, if I end it in OBS, you guys won't be seeing it anymore, and I'll figure it out after that. So, Lauren, hit me up on email or text and we can talk at some point. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Peace. Oh, I think I saw a couple more donations, so thanks in advance to whoever donated to the GoFundMe. I appreciate you all. Bye.